CBC News has learned that one of British Columbia's largest meat packers covered up a food safety scare. The company discovered a potentially dangerous and deadly strain of E. coli in some of its meat. No illness was reported, but it took months before any of it was recalled. Kurt Petrovich now with this exclusive investigation.
He says he wants to come in from the cold to shed light on why one of BC's biggest beef and lamb slaughterhouses was shut down last fall. Daniel Land was in charge of quality assurance, regularly providing samples to a lab for testing before meat was shipped to halal grocers and restaurants around the province. Last September, Land showed the plant's manager a test indicating E. coli 0157.
He said, "This does not leave this room, and I don't want nothing to do with, I don't want nobody talking about this." He crumpled it up and threw it into my garbage can.
Land says he then went to the federal inspector at the plant.
She cried because she says they're covering it up. I says, yes. And she said, same old story.
Still nothing happened, and Land says he was fired after complaining about the cover-up and other problems at the plant. Eventually, Land called the Canada Food Inspection Agency himself. 10 days later, the agency issued a recall for meat that left the plant 2 months earlier.
We had a test. We didn't handle it properly. And, you know, we're apologizing for that.
But the plant manager hid the test, he says, because he thought Land may have tampered with it to sabotage the plant.
I went along with the decision at that time to not go to CFIA, but we should have gone to CFIA.
Bilka says some at the plant have been disciplined, some were let go, but the plant manager who buried the lab test has not been fired.
The plant says subsequent tests revealed not a trace of E. coli. 600 samples examined by inspectors also came back negative. Land denies he tampered with the test. The CFIA says Land's allegations are being investigated.
I wish I could say I was totally shocked, but I'm not.
This federal inspector says what Land saw happens more than people realize, but the plant's excuse rings hollow.
They have covered the tracks so well that it's impossible now to determine the damage. And, you know, if from a cynical perspective, you could say that was their intent.
The CFIA allowed the plant to reopen last month, but the owners gave up their federal license to process meat and got one from the province instead. They say it's a business decision that will save them money. Under provincial meat regulations, the job Daniel Land did, looking over people's shoulders, isn't required. Kurt Petrovich, CBC News, Red Deer.